connector and Spring Boot starter API, they by default come up with a Hibernate. Okay, so these are also some what you say optional configuration, but I would say they are recommended one. So I'll explain you what they do. Sorry, I did something wrong maybe. Okay, so the first one is like Spring JPA Hibernate DDL Auto. So the thing is, there are two way. One way is you can go to database and create your table manually, okay, and manage your table like this. Like I'm creating here, okay, create database, create table, then adding everything like what should be their data type and all. Okay, that's the one way. The other way is you can tell your code itself ki, okay, wherever I'm deploying my code, I'll just add this connection detail, create table for me. If they don't exist, if there is any change I'm making, update them, alter the table. Okay, so this is what this configuration will do. This is totally optional, but I would say it will help you a lot to like build application faster. Then the other configuration is Spring JPA shows SQL. Okay, it's basically used for debugging only, like the query, whatever is querying being executed in the backend, so that you can see them in the logs. Okay, what all queries are being hit in the backend to the database. So if you want to debug it, it will help you. The third one is for formatting only, like otherwise they will come in the string format like the distorted one, but I want them in a formatted way so that it's good readable. So yeah, it's a format one, and it's like a dialect only. The fourth one is the like it's a standard. If Hibernate need a dialect, it's by default. I mean, even if you don't add it, it's by default. I added it, so yeah, nothing much difference. It's by default there. So any doubt for this Hibernate configuration? They will help you a lot to build little faster.
Instead of how to configure this Hibernate, basically we have to write down over, or we have to do any configuration setup.
Yeah, it's just a configuration setup. So you must have added two dependency, right? We talked about one is the JPA one and one is the MySQL connector, right? When you are starting the project, okay, from string side, one is the connector one to connect with MySQL, okay, and one is JPA. Okay, these two dependency they automatically add Hibernate to your kit. No need for installing or anything. It just these are the configuration you need to do, and that too are optional. They will help you to build faster. They are not mandatory one. Even if I remove it, system will still work. The only thing is I need to manage my tables and everything on my own.
Okay, so we're working on the Hibernate on the ORM side. Okay.
Okay, I'll take this as a yes. So I hope there's no doubt for this. So once you're done with the Hibernate configuration and all, so then the next part is how you will define your tables and everything. So it's a wait. Before moving to tables and all, so like let's go step by step only. So last time we discussed about all this API stuff, the controller one. Is it clear? Any doubt there? Like how to start, at least how to write a controller for a get API or a post API.
Chirag, it's been very useful if you start from the CRUD operations, this
Yeah,
making
that's
all
what
the controller and service and this repository and model layer.
yeah, we'll cover everything. Okay. So I'm taking this like okay, we'll discuss controller again. I'm assuming because last time I was thinking ki nobody has a setup, so now I think majority of the people have set up, so they can try on their own. Okay, so before moving to controller, we will discuss about the DTO first. So what is DTO? DTO is nothing like a object only. The DTO is like acronym for data transfer object that we use. So suppose this project is like the art gallery one, okay, and let's start with the basic one. I want to wait. My system is a little slow. This one. Let it open. Wait. Not sure what happened. Hello, guys. Am I audible? I think I lost the internet connection or
Your
something.
skin is not visible.
Just a minute. What's happening to this postman? Okay, it's okay. Is it visible now? You guys seeing the IntelliJ?
Yeah, not yet. I think, yeah, it's been getting on present. Yeah, it's
Okay. Okay. So before moving to control, the first thing is the object, the kind of data you want in your API to consume. Okay. So again, you'll define like there is some API where I need all this detail. Okay. ID, URL, name, whatever you want, you can add as per your requirement. Okay. Then simply for I would recommend for all the DTO, these are the three annotation that are required. One is the data, one is all argument constructor and no argument constructor. So it will simply add all the boilerplate code for you. You don't need to write any constructor, destructor, and the getters and setter. No need to do anything. Just annotate it. You're all done. You just need to specify what all parameter you need. Okay. Then I'll go to the controller layer. Okay. Simply, if I want to create a post API where I want to consume data. Okay. So again, the controller mapping is like the basic one. It's like a base path for you. Then you are adding for each API, there must be some address, right? So that you add in this path here. Okay. You will let Spring Boot know, okay, it will consume application like JSON data, application JSON data. Okay. And what's the request body for my API? So it's like a art detail, whatever define here. Okay. I need all this detail in my body, and then I'll call my service layer. So this is how basic post mapping, a post API is being constructed. Okay. Similarly, a get API, same thing. The path, get all user. Now get API, we usually produce data. Okay. There can be requirement where we consume data as well. Okay. Like this is also a get API, and we are asking some category here. But we usually produce data, right, in the get API. So we are also producing same JSON data only. So I wrote it here. Okay, we are producing JSON application JSON value only, and then it's simply I'm calling my service layer to get all the art details, and I'll send in the response. Okay. Guys, am I audible?
Yeah, Chirag. I have a query.
Mhm.
Yeah. After making the setup of installation, I mean, of doing this project setup, we're going to create a four packages. Of one is for the controller, and the service, and for the repository and the model of the entity. Okay. Am I right? Chirag,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Now, after doing this setup, we're going to create the classes as per the requirements.
This is yeah, yeah. Am I not audible to you? Hello.
Yeah, Chirag, your voice is getting low and
Um,
we're getting in. Your
yes.
Wi-Fi band is not to the mark.
Then
Chirag,
is it
Chirag, it's for the network issue from your end.
okay? Hello. I understood. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, Chirag. Yeah.
Okay, guys, is it better now? The voice.
The voice is audible, but we cannot see in your screen.
Yeah, screen. I stopped sharing. I don't know. Like as in when I started sharing screen, it's consuming a lot of bandwidth or something. Maybe it's my old laptop. Uh, okay, it's okay. So did you understand the concept, the get mapping, post mapping, guys? Any how to consume data, the produce data? Okay. Any
That's
doubt
the
till
thing
so?
was fine, Chirag. My question is that my query is just coming over and we created the packages and how we're
Right.
going to be started working in doing some any type of writing some code. And just like
Yeah.
when you create some user, so how we going to be for instead of getting a user login, we have to get up some sign up, some registration layer will be there. So from there,
Hmm.
an admin layer will be there. From admin to
Hmm.
user, how the data will be enhanced and make the operations to be called, and what are the phases of the controller and the service, and these all. Can you go through from one to one, one to one, one to the interconnection, and then we can get some ideology on what you've been clear on this particularly on this particular stream.
Hmm. Okay, so again, coming back to your question only, everything that you talk, like the login, sign up, the admin functionality, they all are like a functionalities all together. The way you want to build it, it's totally up to you, right? It's nothing to do with Spring and anything, right? So the only main idea here is ki how API is being built with Spring Boot, right? So, okay, I'll try sharing my screen again. Let me know if it is visible. So, like this. So, like API controller I build here. Okay, they are. I mean, in this API controller, mostly it's like a what you say, the business logic, whatever are the requirements as in what are the main features of that application. Then there are some other controller I build, like the authentication controller. I want to do some sign up, the user login. These are a pretty straightforward thing. Okay, so there are a standard, some standard way to build some login and sign up, but it totally depend on how you want to build it. uh, the kind of security you want to impose, everything. Okay, so that's a little advanced stuff, but the main idea here is how to start an API. Suppose if you want to build a basic API, let's not go to the login and sign up, because it's a different thing altogether. How you want to manage the credential and all thing, it's totally depend on the requirement. So the basic idea was ki how a API look like, how a API journey start. So API journey start usually from your controller. Okay, controller we usually define. Okay, what will be the entry point, what API will do, and what I'll get in the response. That's the whole agenda for the controller. Then the next part usually comes with the service layer. Okay, so suppose this one, I want to add a art to my gallery. So there is a art gallery service, I add it, and I auto add it. We already discussed this auto wiring concept. Okay, why I auto add? Because there was some other concept. If you know the basic Java, we used to create object like object obj equals to new object. Okay, that's the way we used to create. But auto wiring is like adding the auto configuration here. Whenever I know my API controller need art gallery, Spring will automatically add my art gallery details here. Okay, so if I go under the service layer, I know what I need, art details, and then I need to map my art detail with my entity, and then just I want to save it. Okay, so, okay, before this, I'll also explain. In the Spring Boot, entity we usually use to represent table. Okay, entity. Whenever I say entity, I mean about table. Okay, there is some table that exists in my database, and when I say repository, repository is way to access my table. Like this, like my art details. So this is how the data is being added in my table. So there is this table with art detail. Okay, and these are the columns I am maintaining in my table: ID, URL, name, description, the category of the art when it is being created and updated. Then there is a repository for the same entity, art detail repository, where I write this SQL queries or whatever. I mean, some few feature like a JP already provides, so I don't even need to add my native query. But sometime we need to write the native query, like how we want to fetch out the data. Okay, so this is how the flow will look like: controller to service layer. Okay, and then based on the requirement, you can create another component as well. Okay, like I created, this was a pretty straightforward, so I created entity and repository, I called directly. But maybe you want to do some calculation, you want to do some mapping, or there are some requirement where you want to go another layer. Okay, like within your business layer, it's not something key you can write everything in your service layer, because otherwise your one method will be like a very big method, right? So will divide the logic into multiple components. So there we used, like we added this service annotation. We create a different component and we annotate them with at component annotation. So the Spring will know, okay, this is a particular component that some service will use.
Chirag, if you don't mind, can you show me line diagram
Sorry, line diagram for
how data is transferring from to front end to back end? And you have told that auto wiring that regarding that.
see, front end to back end data transfer is nothing but a API call, right?
Yeah.
Like this is my postman. Okay, consider this is your front end only. I'll call how you do a call from front end to back end. It's like a API call, right? A form
Yes.
post call, anything, right? So the same thing I'm doing here. Like suppose I want to add art. Okay, consider this is my front end only, and I'll go to this postman. I'll add the detail, authorization detail, the body I want to send, and I'll just click send. So it will reach to my backend server. It will check all this detail, and add it to my database or fetch it from database or whatever the computation they want to do. This is how the flow will work.
Yeah, if you don't mind, can you tell us the installation of the Spring Boot? Previously, they have told, Sir told that uh, to install
Mhm.
to do the work, right?
Installation setup, right?
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, like it's a straightforward way. You have to install the Java JDK JRE because you can
Yeah,
simply
your
go.
voice is not audible.
Hello.
Yeah, Chiro.
I mean, it's like a very straightforward thing. You can go to internet and check how to download or how to set up this one. I mean, because if you will go to that setup, because everyone has a different configuration on their said system, so it will be a very time consuming and very tedious. So,
Okay. Or if you don't mind, can you share a link regarding the YouTube, easy way to installation?
guys, any recommendation, like you are doing this for first time? Because I did my setup a long back, so I don't have any link or as such thing handy. But all these peers are very new, or they did set up very recently. So guys, any recommendation you can paste in the chat.
Okay.
It will help to sign Vinay.
So since we also faced some
Yeah,
issues regarding
Vinay.
Yeah, Anup.
Vinay, after this call, I'm going to wait. I'm going to share up the link.
Yeah,
You just open it and do the setup installation.
yeah. Thank you, Anup.
Okay, so again, let's come back to the requirement thing. So suppose you want to again build this art gallery or something. Okay, so what's the very first thing will come to your mind? There will be some arts you want to store, right? So you will define some controller or data transfer object, right? So first thing first, whenever you start a project, the first thing comes to your mind is your DTOs and your entities, because DTO is how you will get data and talk to front end. Okay, an entity is where how you want to store the data, because it's not like whatever in your DTO. Sometimes, I mean, in most of the cases, DTO and entity looks like same, but it's not always the same, because entities are like whatever you want to store in the database. So it's not like always you store each and every data in your database, or maybe your database can be more complex than what it looks like in the API, right? So that's the very first thing whenever you start any Spring Boot application or a backend application. That's I mean that's the start thing we do. Okay, so define our DTOs, what all requirement we will be getting, or is there any request structure, and is there any response structure. So all this DTO will define, and then we define our entities. Okay, like my R detail entities. So very simple thing, just think about ki whatever the details you want to store in your database. Like I want to store URL, the art name, the art description, and the category of art. Okay, created and updated data are like the recommended one we usually create to maintain. Okay, when I added this record, or when was the last time I updated this record. Okay, then ID is the one, I mean, which every SQL table should be having to identify a unique row. So I mean, this at the rate column annotation, you have to do it for all the column. For ID, you just need to annotate it at ID, so that Spring will know, okay, this is the unique ID you want to keep. And this one is again non-mandatory one, but it's usually people usually add it. So what this will do, it will automatically generate a unique ID for my every record every time. So this will help. Okay. So for every entity, you need to annotate it with at entity and at table. Okay. And then you need to write a name. Okay. What you want your table name to be. So in you say SQL, they follow snake case. Okay. So like all small and they join with underscore, like art underscore detail. It's not like usually in this like in any language we used to write in camel case, right? Like here art then n is capital, but if you see I write column name as art underscore name all small. So this is how, I mean, this is the format SQL follow. This one we call snake case, all small connected with underscore. So, yeah, I mean, that's what you should try today. Create your entity, your DTOs. I mean, just look at your project, think about your entities, your DTOs, what you want to build, annotate it with at entity, table, and data. Okay, these three annotation you want to add, and then add this for configuration in your property file, and then start your application. You will see it will automatically create your tables and everything. Guys, any doubt for this one? I'll also share this one in chat. You can copy and keep it for you. Okay, you can copy it. I'll, let me also paste this entity stuff so that you can take reference from this one. Okay, how an entity should be created. Okay, so try creating your DTOs for project. Try identifying the schema, like what all data you want to store, what all data will be needed in future. So suppose like at the at creating profile, what all detail you want to consume and save in the database. Okay. Sorry, Kiran, you're saying something? Okay, sorry. Guys, any doubt till this point? Okay, the Hibernate configuration and the entity creation and whatever we talk about the get and post call.
Chirag, can we write HQL query? I mean, we are using a Hibernate.
SQL query you're talking about?
I mean, query we can write on HQL because we connected with Hibernate ORM.
No, I don't know. I mean, we usually write SQL query. I am not aware about the what you said?
HQL.
HQL, no.
Yeah.
I haven't faced this in my experience. No idea.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I'll take this key. I mean, it's. I mean, everyone has no doubt for now. So you can copy this part, the Hibernate configuration and entity creation. Think about your project, whatever you are building or whatever is in your bucket list. Try coming up with the DTOs and entity and try starting the project so that it will create a database. Oh, sorry, tables in your database. But before creating this table, you need to create a database on your own. So yeah, otherwise it will start throwing another exceptions.
Yeah. Got it.
Okay. Thank you guys. Anything, any doubt, anything paste, or we will connect tomorrow. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye bye.
Thanks, Sir. Thank you.
Yeah.